If you want to play Mortal Kombat, but you've never really bothered to sit down and learn a fighting game before, because it just seems too daunting, or you feel like you don't have the time to play, or you just think it's too hard, you sound just like my friend. I'm making this super easy beginner guide for him, so I'll be using his favorite character, Omni-man. But the fundamentals of what I'm going to cover can be applied to most of the other characters in the game, just for anyone trying to get their foot in the door. I'll mostly be going over 2 or kind of 3 things that I hear new players express their frustration with the most, with some general tips and info at the end. But everything will be timestamped so you can, skip around and, go to whatever you might need help with. First things first, pause the game, go into your move list, activate advanced view. This will pull up your frame data. I know this is scary. For a lot of people getting into fighting games, this is exactly the kind of thing they look at and they think, no, this is not for me. But I promise this just looks way more complicated than it actually is. The most important detail to look at here, as far as understanding why this isn't actually as complicated as it is, you see these little series of dots and lines that connect some of these moves together? That's because they're separate parts of one move. So for example, Viltru Mighty Blow, Conqueror Killer, Planet Pillager, that's all the same attack. That's all the same sequence. It's one sequence. It's willing to give you the information of the 3 separate attacks. What if I just do the first part, or the second part, or the whole thing? It's displayed separately, but really it's all one sequence. On the right side over here, there's only 3. You can ignore almost everything over here except startup, block advantage, and cancel. Startup is just the measurement of how fast your button or your move will start doing damage between button press and actively doing the damage, so the wind up to your punch. Block advantage is the measurement between when you regain control of your character after throwing out an attack and when your opponent regains control of their character from blocking that attack. This can be a negative number, which is bad for you, or a positive number, which is good for you. And if it's 0, then it means you both regain control of your characters at the same exact time. So the simplest way to apply this is if you have a move that is a positive number, any positive number, it's still your turn. If it's a minus number, it's your opponent's turn. Cancel, we're just looking to see if it even displays a number. We don't care what the number is. If it displays a number, that means you can cancel that string or that move or that part of that string into a special attack. So let's start putting some of that together. Alright, Conqueror Killer is your only plus frame move. It's +3 on block. Planet Pillager and Destructive Elbow are both neutral on block. They're both 0, so you both regain control of your character at the same exact time. We're going to start with Conqueror Killer since it's your only move that's positive on block. Starting out, this is going to be your bread and butter tool for applying pressure. So, I'm going to split it up into 2 parts. What happens if you use it and they get hit, and then what happens if you use it and they block. If it lands, you can follow it up with a low that leads into a combo. They can stop this by crouch blocking, but will get hit if they try anything else. If they do try to crouch block, you can hit them with an overhead that leads into a combo. These are usually slow, or not the first move in a string, so the opponent has more options to escape. Stand blocking, armored or invincible moves, or throwing out a jab will beat this option. It's really only something you want to go for if you notice your opponent wants to default to crouch blocking while under pressure. If you want something a little less risky, you can use a faster overhead. It won't be something you can start a combo with, but they can't interrupt it with a jab either. Standing block still beats this, and some characters might have a tiny window to use an armored or invincible move. Now, what do you do if they blocked the attack? Honestly, the first thing I do is just immediately do it again. Spam it, actually. Your whole goal here is to get them to start pressing buttons, which will get them counter hit. You can go for pressure I just went over. Or, you're trying to get them to crouch. The only way they can escape you linking these together like this is if they use a crouching attack, since the first hit is a high. You could also try following it up with one of your strings that end with you being at 0 advantage. So even if they block everything, it's still ambiguous at worst on whose turn it is. But they might get hit by the overhead in the string, or they might just stop blocking after the second hit thinking you're only doing another 2-hit string and they want to take their turn back. It's just another safe tool to see how your opponent likes to play. Are they usually blocking low? Are they never blocking low? Are they too anxious to take their turn back? Etc. If you're certain they want to block, but they kind of got this going on and you don't want to guess high or low, then grabbing is a really good follow-up. Now sometimes, you may notice, even after blocking, they don't want to block low. What do we do about that? We break their ankles. You can air dash multiple times in one combo. It just costs meter after every extra dash you do after the first one. If you start blocking immediately after inputting spilled contents, you'll perform something called an option select, meaning your character will do something different based on the circumstances despite using the same input. Here with spilled contents, if your opponent blocks, then you just do the first 2 hits and are safe against any counterattack they might go for. But if it lands, you get the full string. Your own assist can knock you out of any grab or cinematic animation. Calling out an assist forces you into an animation. Because of this, you can't use your cameo while you're in the air, blocking, or doing an attack that isn't special cancelable. The exception to this rule are assists that don't cause damage. If you try to forward grab while your assist is on screen, you just kinda shove them. A lot of projectiles that count as a high will be blocked while crouching. But if you just crouch without blocking, they'll go right over you.